we're recording.
All right. Hello. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Push Talk with Arthur, good friend, brother in Christ, Nick. Heyward, y'all give it up for Nick.
Yay!
All right.
Today, this Push Talk is particularly really special. They are all special, but this one is really special. Y'all want to know why? Anybody got an idea? It's his birthday! You know I had to go to celebration a little bit, brother.
I appreciate it.
Yes. It's been ringing in my head all day. I had to get it out. Yeah, so thank you guys for joining us. We are so grateful. We have had quite a few push talks and get some really good feedback. People are diving into the mind of the author, what made him do it, why now, why this season. So it's a lot of good information. If you guys have not watched the previous push talks, please go to YouTube. And go check them out. Get caught up on the series. So I just want to definitely just cheer you on to go do that. So before we get started with all these push partners, Nick, how it feel? Birthday man, birthday sir, King, Nick, what we got?
Oh, wow.
How you feeling?
It feels wonderful. It feels great to celebrate. It feels great to be celebrated, and it's a blessing just to live to see 41. I'm thankful. I'm excited for the great things that are yet to come, and I'm looking forward to this push talk on tonight.
Okay. One quick question. Because I'm I know it's something amazingly different about this birthday than all the birthdays you had prior to this one.
I can answer
just the insight, like, how does that feel to know and believe divine relationship is afoot? Like, it's afoot. It's like, it's coming. It's so close you can lick it and taste it and touch it. Like, how does that feel?
It's amazing. God has shown me in this past year that he is the God of unanswered prayers. He is the God that never forgot what you petitioned him for, and he gives it to you in his time, and he gives it to you when you're equipped and capable and ready to handle it. So I'm amazed. He's the God of exceeding and abundant, and he's exceeding all my expectations, and I'm walking in abundance. So I'm thankful.
Right.
I'm excited about this new beginning. Our last push talk ended before I could really say that I was in a relationship and not single. So Nick,
that's why y'all gotta go watch the other ones. Go watch the other push talks. You gotta do it.
So yes,
okay.
I'm
okay,
ready.
Good.
Excited.
Yeah, good. Because I have a special place in my heart for divine love. It's just so good. All things good. Okay, so I want everybody on here to introduce themselves. And I don't know which way we'll go, so I call your name. Introduce yourself and tell us what is your favorite affirmation from the Push Project. So we will start with Miss Paula Little because we already have rapport and me and her both like to talk. So I'm going to let her talk first.
My name is Paula Little, and I go to church, to the Refreshing Church with Nicholas. And my favorite affirmation is number 36, and that's the one, you are safe and covered. Amen. And this really came at a perfect time for me, just to test my faith, because we're dealing with the pandemic, and a lot of people are just all over the place. And I just feel that I have nothing to worry about, because when my God said that I am covered and he have me and I am safe, I believe it. I ride on it. I trust him every day. And that one there really stuck with me, really pushed my faith out. Like you say, we have a time where where God tests our faith, where I watch a lot of people just get out of whack about the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. But with me, it allowed me to believe that God have me protected. I have
Mhm.
nothing to worry about no matter what the circumstances is. It also have me to feel that I am covered in his, I'm covered with him, with his protection. And not only that, but the God keeps a shield of his word over me. So I won't have to worry about anything. So like I said, this one really stuck with me. And at this time, so my daughter, I don't want to take too much time, but my daughter, when the virus first came out, I mean, she was panicking and everything else, and goes to church, believing God, pray and everything. And she said, Mom, how could you just sit here and not worry? Not worry about it. I said, I am not worried because he has me.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
it's
And
nothing
we can, as children of God, that's why we need the book with the affirmation. It's the same reason why we need to go to church and hear the pastor. It's not that we don't know the word, but sometimes you just need to be reminded of what you already know. Because sometimes it gets far from us. So trust God, trust the process.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes,
So Miss
definitely.
Yolanda, tell us about yourself and let us know your favorite affirmation.
Okay. My name is Yolanda Pato, and I'm Nicholas's first cousin. And we grew up together, so I think I probably know him longer than maybe most of you, except for maybe Vashni, maybe Tatiana, I'm not sure, but I know I've known him before he was born. I can say that.
Well, you have known him longer than us. You've known him longer than he's known himself.
But my favorite, well, I'm gonna say the one that impacted me the most was affirmation number 9. I am my brother's keeper, and with that affirmation, Nicholas spoke about his depression. And first, because I also I deal with obsessive compulsive disorder, and and it would also also combined with depression. And so when I read that, I felt like, oh my goodness, here I am, in my family, because I look at my family like Nicholas and our other cousins, my brother, I look at them all as very strong people. And I felt always so like weak.
Bless you,
Time.
sister.
Take your time.
Bless you.
So, it kind of like, I'm like, I wish Nicholas would have shared that. And so to everybody else out there who's going to listen to this, I just encourage you not to sit and hold that in, share it, because there are other people. Here's my first cousin. You know what I mean? And so that is the one that made the most impact on me.
Yes. I believe, and I share with Nick all the time, that as we share our stories, it allows space for other people to heal. We have these conversations all the time. It is important to share our stories because it does allow other people to heal. So Miss Williams, what's your favorite affirmation? Today, because it may change next week. So what's your favorite one today?
Well, I absolutely love all of them. And my name is Tatiana Williams. I am Nicholas is a cousin.
Yes.
Okay.
In a peculiar way.
Right.
Peculiar. Well, we're peculiar creatures over here.
But my favorite affirmation is 23, which pretty much says you are loved. That is my absolute favorite. And it is my absolute favorite because there were times in my life where I didn't feel that I was loved by people. And it wasn't, my life has had a quite an interesting, I'm not a person that shares personal things about myself, really. But when you don't feel that you measure up to certain people or to certain things, it causes you to feel insecure about a lot of things. And so having this newfound look on life for 2020 for myself has put me in a different light.
Okay.
Because now, not that I didn't know, but I'm more confident in my worth. I know what I possess. I know what God has done for me. I know what he is continuing to do for me. And now I'm walking in purpose. And fulfilling purpose is very important for me. And so now that I am in tune with what I need to be doing for myself, I have been truly focused in a lot of areas in my life starting in January. So to feel love, that is just the most important thing to me, because I display that. So I kind of like, it's one of those things where you want to be affirmed.
Yes, yes.
You know, you want to be, and it's not to the point of being insecure, but just being affirmed and reassured that yes, you are loved, you're important to me, you matter. So yes, you are loved, it's mine.
Absolutely. You are loved is all a part of God's divine will, because God is love, right? So for us to be on the face of this earth any length of time and we leave or transition over without experiencing love, that's like not experiencing God. So that is God that is affirming you and assuring you that you are loved, you are chosen, you are wanted, you are desired, you are all those things. But when you get you are loved, then your love for other people, it shows up greatly and richly. So yeah, that's one of my favorite. I had when I finally realized that God loved me, baby, y'all couldn't tell, can't nobody tell me nothing. Now that I know God loved me, it's on. It's on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. I would say that first name, but I'm gonna let you do it. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself to us with your favorite affirmation.
Well, I'm Vashni Wright. I am Nicholas' first cousin.
Yes.
To be honest, yes, I love I love the whole book. I have 3 favorite affirmations.
Okay.
One was already said. Number 9, I'm my brother's keeper. You spoke. You said what you said was, you said it perfectly. You know, I suffer from depression as well. And the person, I mean, it's crazy because in the book, he credited my sister Deborah Bowers, who was the one that called him during that stage or his moment of life. But in my walk, Nicholas probably knows this. He gave me quite a few calls that kind of, I may have not been on that same level as Nick, but that spirit of love was felt. But chapter 9, chapter 18, I am a warrior.
Yeah.
Loved it. Having 2 kids as well, being a single father. I understand. I love that one, and I know I'm not supposed to have only one favorite, but again, that whole book was just beautiful to me. But chapter 17, I will say, I'm going to choose out of the 3 favorites I have. Chapter 17 is the one. I'm a product of a praying grandmother.
Yes.
Our grandmother was somebody who held us accountable, prayed over us, and just, spoke things into existence for us. Sometimes I could say that, you know, when I get to a stage of not knowing a direction, she's who comes to my mind, especially knowing that her strength. I know that we only get to see the positivities or the smiles on our grandparents' face sometimes. Sometimes we see the other side of them, but I see a smile on my grandmother's face, and her strength is something that always kind of a burst of happiness. So out of those 3, I'm going to choose affirmation 17.
Yes.
That one really just kind of just held me tight and just made me warm all over. What can I say?
All right.
Every time I hear someone say that one about the praying grandmother, I wonder would I ever become that. Like nowadays, nobody want to be called mama or big mama or whatever. but they don't want to be called that because it's work come with that title.
Yeah.
Everybody can't be called Big Mama. Everybody can't be called Momo. But to have a praying grandmother, I pray that would be me. No time soon. I'm working on the grandboy right now. No time soon on the granddaughter. Miss Sudi.
Yes, ma'am.
Affirmation.
So my favorite affirmation is probably going to be affirmation 6. And it says, I am grateful. I really, really like that just because of things that have transpired in my life that make me look back over life and see how grateful I am that life didn't take me out, that I survived, that I came out on top, that I was victorious.
Mm-hmm.
So I am grateful is probably the one that sticks out the most because the devil wishes to sift us as wheat, but we come out victorious every time. So I'm grateful for that.
Okay. I'm grateful. I tell my children all the time, if you can find one thing to be grateful for, then you have something to rejoice for. I don't care how bad it is. Sit with yourself and grateful for. Okay. Last but definitely.
Oh no, I was just saying it could be worse.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think I lost you for a minute, but yes, absolutely. If you can sit and find one thing to absolutely be grateful for, like it started to bring up joy from within, and you meditate there till you get out of that space. I have 3 girls, and that's what I lead them with, especially when I tell them no. Be grateful you got a roof over your head. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Let's be grateful you still got the roof over your head. Terry Gatson, I think I said that right. Please introduce yourself and let us know your favorite affirmation today, because they can change.
They definitely can. Hello, everyone. My name is Terry Gatson. Nicholas is my cousin. I'm from New Jersey. The pastor of Kingdom Fellowship Church in New Jersey, husband and father of 2 lovely sons. And I have 2 affirmations that are my favorite. I'll start with affirmation number 19. I am a listener. And he talks about it. It's just to his moms about the coach and him playing football and listening to the coach. And there's some key things in there about listening to the coach. And I like to take this affirmation and say, call the coach God. If we listen to the key coach, who is the coach of all of our coach, if we took time to just listen to that particular coach, we all would be all right. And the world would be in a different state. But not everyone takes time to listen to the coach. Then the next one that I love, which is my favorite, and Brother Wright just used it. So I'm going to piggyback off of what he said, which is affirmation number 17. I am the product of a praying grandmother.
Ooh, yeah.
And I actually, when you look at me, you see a product of prayer. Growing up in the city of New Jersey, it was rough. However, my grandmother saw something in me as a young kid, and she prayed for me. And when many of my other relatives or friends, they fell victim to what the surroundings and the atmosphere that we found ourselves in, they fell victim to it. But because of the prayers of my grandmother, I was able to survive all the attacks that they were not able to survive. And today, you would have never told me that I would be a pastor. No way I would ever been a pastor. Not me. If you ask some of my friends, they wouldn't believe it themselves. And then with my grandmother, she would always pick on me because I'm a product of a grandmother back in the days when they had the prayer bands. When they would go from house to house. So when I would stay with my grandmother on 12 o'clock every day, it's time to get up, it's time to pray. So what she would do is, look, somebody read a scripture, somebody sing a song. And what she would do to me, because I was that child that would try to get the rest of my siblings and cousins, as she's praying and they're singing, I'm making jokes. So she would say to me, Terry, you're going to sing today. Terry, you're going to pray today. And I would say, Grandma, why me? And then, but slowly but surely, as life went on, I began to understand, like, wow, Grandma saw something in me back then. And as Brother Vashni said, there were certain things that happened in my life that I said, if it wasn't for the prayers of my grandmother, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in today. So I'm still living off of reserved prayers of my grandmother.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Any of us that's on here right now who had a prayer and grandmother, we standing on their prayers.
Yes.
I was a part of that when they used to take us to the church and they'll go in at 6 o'clock at night and don't come back out to 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I'm that grandchild. Yes, and she didn't care. Everybody came. She got up, made everybody breakfast. After she got through praying, though, when nothing happened until she prayed.
That's right.
Okay? Hey. Nick, affirmation 8, it says, I am at peace with my past talks about the difference between your story and your testimony. I just kind of want to move into that because Martha Barnwell.
Yes.
And why did you dedicate this particular affirmation to her?
All right. At peace with my past. Martha Barnwell is my aunt. She's my mom's oldest sister. She's Yolanda's mother as well. And that's our aunt that we visited in. That's Auntie from Seguin.
Okay.
So,
what do you call her?
Yeah, Aunt Martha.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why that threw me off. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So she and I, over the years, have shared lots of stories about our testimonies and how you never really share what you've been through until you found deliverance from that. Because when you've been delivered and free from something, you can talk about it because you're no longer bound by those things. And we have shared so many things about stories from things that I have done in my past where people would try to keep me bound with. But then we were able to come back later and share testimonies of deliverance and how the thing that once had me bound, I'm past it and I can now use my experience to help other people get through it. So I dedicated this to her because when I had the thought of being at peace with your past, she's the first person that came to mind because our past is what it is. We're no longer there, but we can testify to you about what it takes to get out of that. And we can also testify to you about the joy that we found on the other side.
Yes. That is so important. I hope that as all your readers read, that really resonate with them. Like the past is not to be forgotten, because you're not going to forget it, but it is for us to learn, and the forgiveness is for us. But most time, I think sometime in the church world, we tell the story too early.
Yeah.
You have to wait until the story is completed, healing is there, victory is there, then it is a testimony. Hold your story. Not as much as I believe that as we share the story, it provides healing for those that are listening and give them their own aha moment, but share the story on the other side of victory. So walk us through the process for getting to the point of growth in this affirmation.
I had to learn that, as you said, I had to heal from my past. And I had to learn that in the process of me finding healing, I couldn't oppress other people and put them in a place where they were going through or feeling the negative emotions that had me bound. You know, I was angry. I was upset. I lashed out at people unnecessarily. So I couldn't take that which oppressed me and turn around and oppress other people. I had to heal myself first. So then when I saw your hurt, I could affirm you and speak positively to you and let you know that, you know, there is victory from depression. There is victory from low self-esteem, rather than me having a chip on my shoulder and attacking you because I see the weakness in you that was once in me. So we have to heal, we have to grow, we have to learn a thing, be able to identify that thing, and then speak positively to those people that you see being affected by it as well.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I think it was your cousin Yolanda who said, why did you share with me? Because I was going through it, but you wasn't able to share. It wasn't time to share. It's a time to share. It's a time to be quiet. It's a season for everything. Yeah. And that wasn't a season. But now that it is out, those who read it, it will reach them. It will help them, even with sharing it now, like you were sharing it now.
Yeah.
I understand the Push Project was birthed on this day last year.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're doing on this day last year.
This day last year, we were in South Carolina celebrating my 40th birthday. We brought together a room full of individuals that would have never come together under any circumstance. There were people from my past, there were people from my present, but these were all individuals. There were some that were really religious, there were some that didn't find their way into the church, just opposite.
I understand.
But the beauty, what I wanted everyone to understand was we all came together for one reason, and that was to celebrate life. I brought everyone together for the reason to help them understand that there's no such thing as a carbon copy Christian. We're all not going to look the same because we haven't all gone through the same things. But when I needed love, when I needed affirmations, when I needed someone to pick me up when I was down and to speak positive things to me, God sent all the people in this room. None of them looked the same. Many of them never claimed to be ministers. Many of them never claimed to be Christians even, but God used them to help me through situations. And that night was my opportunity to bring them all together and help us all realize it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you've gone through, but if we lift one another up and we build one another up and we come together, that's how we're going to grow and that's how we're going to make it. We can't judge one another by what we look like. We have to judge one another by the quality of our hearts. And in that room, as I'm standing here talking to these people, my heart is overflowed because at the darkest points in my life, when I didn't feel worthy, when I didn't feel I was going to make it, the people that I would have never thought to say, Nick, I see something in you and you're different, they spoke it. They weren't in the church, but they helped me to find my way back to the church. And then as I grew, they allowed me to witness and share my witness. And we learned to agree to disagree, accept one another's differences, but with love and kindness, we drew one another. And in that room on that night, the Spirit spoke to me and said, now is the time for you to share your testimony with the world. I always said I wanted to be on Oprah's masterclass. I wanted to do something so great that I could sit and I could talk with Oprah. But my cousin Yolanda shared with me and she said, you know, Nick, you may never make it on Oprah's master's class, but you are in the master's class. So you take any platform that you have and you use that platform to share. And when you share, that's where Christ has for you to be. And that's how you're going to draw the individuals. I've learned not to look for the size of crowds. I've learned not to look for prestige and fame for myself, but I've just learned to share the positivity that helped get me through. And that's when the Push Project was birthed in Barnville, South Carolina, August 10th of last year.
Yeah! Celebration of the Push Project. Yes. We are so excited and we're so glad that Holy Spirit said yes, and it is time, and you was being obedient. That's a part of the whole process, right? It's not about the likes or the views or the whatever. It is, are you being obedient to the calling? When he put a calling in us and he tell us to do a thing, you may have to do it 10,000 times in the dark before one person really get the message and it take out. But are we willing to do it 10,000 times in the dark? You know, when God calls us to do a thing, we must do it. Like, that's just what it is.
Yes.
Oh, this one is good. Okay, Nick, tell us about the peace you have now versus the Nick before the affirmations, or even during it, because the person you are now is definitely not the person's pre-affirmation. And then it was a transition as you start telling yourself these things and believing these things, then this Nick shows up. And now that you have done the work and you have healed, if you can also interject when those old things come up, because they come up, because the devil like to try the same thing. If he think he could do it again, how do you use what you have learned to overcome that with your affirmations?
All right. Okay. The old Nick versus the now Nick. The old Nick was miserable, and misery loves company. So I had a smart tongue and I shared my mind, but really I was just trying to dump my burden on someone else because it was getting heavy for me to carry. When I accepted the call and the notion to put this project together, we never forget where we've come from, and we never forget the situations that we've been through. But what I had to do in the transitional process is I had to be able to identify the old Nick in all the people that were around me. It was as if the people around me were mirrors of myself. And in
absolutely.
everyone,
Wow.
I saw the ugly parts of me that I could not stand. And to me, that was the reminder of, well, you know what? This is exactly how you look to all of them, and they never turned it back on you. So what are you going to do in this moment? Because now is your turn to labor with them the way they labor with you. You see how they get on your nerves? That's how you got on their nerves. You know how he just told you off, and you want to say some things that you shouldn't say? You've done that to them many a time yourself. So now that you're looking at the old you, how are you going to get them from where they are to where you are currently? So it was hurtful a lot because I really got to see the ugly parts of myself, but it was joyful at the same time because now I have an opportunity to pour into others what was poured into me. So it was just a mirror of this is you. You thought this was that person, but really this is how you look to all of them this whole time. And they loved you. They stood by you. They corrected you when you needed it. So now what are you going to do? Now that you have a victory, are you going to take your victory and turn your back? Or are you going to turn around and help them to bridge the gap between where they are and where you are currently? So it was a lot of crying. It was a lot of biting your tongue and not saying some things, but every day I saw more and more of me, and I realized that when you can put yourself in another person's shoes, you can understand what they're going through, you can relate to what they're going through, but you can also give them the tools to get through it. So.
That's the beauty in the Push Project for me, is the compassion, right? Just listening to you talk is actually having compassion for all the things that you have been delivered from or healed from, that once us as saints of God and as the body of Christ get on the other side, is don't forget from whence you came. You know, we have to love them where they are with God love so they can get over there and they can have victory, not through condemning, but through love. Love is what draw, right? That's what drew you.
Yeah.
So as we wrap it up, I do want to ask, but I think maybe we only have time for one person. So whoever raised their hand first, that's who can answer this question. So, okay, back to